and much, much more. Cavretta's is open 7 days a week and has been voted the best sandwich shop by Fox 11 Television for 3 years in a row. Cavretta's Deli in Canoga Park, the same owner, 28 years. Go to cavrettasdeli.com.
I know I'd go from rags to riches.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the PM show with Larry and Nancy Manetti. And right now on the line, of course, our esteemed guest, Tony Danza, legend of stage, screen, and, of course, boxing ring, we just found out about. Now, Tony, I know Nancy had some questions for you about how you got into dancing, your whole dancing career.
I really I have so much to thank Taxi for, Larry. I mean, a lot of guys get a break in this business because, the new guys are cheaper, they're younger, so guys get a break. But they don't often get a break like that. It was just such a great, not only the best show on TV, but the people involved were so amazing. And then the last year of the show, I'm 32, I think, and we do a show about fantasies that we all have. And Mary Lou's fantasy, or Elaine's fantasy, was to be a Broadway performer. And so we do this lullaby of Broadway, and we pretend to tap dance. And I go, geez, I always wanted to learn how to do that. And so I got myself a teacher, and I studied with a guy named Pat Rico. And for the first maybe 10 years, I was insane about it. I used to have a piece of plywood in my car, and I'd see my friends and say, "Hey, wait, I got to show you this step," And I just went nuts with it. And he was a wonderful teacher. He was just the greatest guy. I'd be drenched, and he'd be smoking a cigarette in a jacket. It'd be like, holy mackerel. But I learned a lot, and I love it, and I've been doing it ever since. And in fact, I'm really excited about something. August 11th, I'm playing Resorts in Atlantic City, right? It's just a one-nighter. I'm getting the band together, and we're going to do this show. We're going to do my live act, an act that I've been doing. I'm going to do a few different things because I'm trying to get this show, Honeymoon in Vegas, to Broadway. And there's a song in there that I love that I want to do now. It's very funny, and it works great. So I want to put that in. So there's some things I'm changing. But one of the things I want to do is I've been studying with a girl named Patty Lockery. She's one of the Lockery sisters, the famous tap dancers here in New York City. They teach, and she has this thing about deconstructing old routines, and she's taught me Begin the Begin, Fred Astaire and Eleanor Powell.
Oh, wow.
And so we're going to do that August 11th. And it's one of the craziest things. There's like 29 turns at the end.
Wow.
I mean, it's insane.
Wow.
But I love it. I adore it. It makes me feel young. It's the closest thing to running. You know how you feel when
you're
you
a
can
multi-talented genius, Tony.
Well, I don't know about that, but I appreciate that. But,
Well, tap is very hard. When I was a kid, I danced a lot and took tap, jazz, and ballet. And boy, I'll tell you, you can get a lot of air taps in there if you're not sure yourself.
You really got it. But you know what I did last week? So last week I was in L.A. because I was doing this movie with, I just finished a movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Who interestingly I worked with when he was 12 in Angels in the Outfield, and now he's 31. He's directing, he's written, he's directing, and he's starring in a picture called Don John's Addiction. It's with Scarlett Johansson, Julianne Moore, Anne Hathaway, Channing Tatum, Glenn Headley, and Brie Larson.
Great
Brie Larson and Tony Danza. How did I get into that group? What's wrong with this picture?
God bless you.
Anyway, so I was out in L.A. and I stayed with my son and his two boys. My son has one, Nicky, he's going to be 7 in August, and a little guy named Lucas Matthew who's just 9 months. But Nicky, and by the way, they both now, it's funny, even the 9-month-old is hooked on tap dancing. I got him little shoes. I got the little shoes for the 7-year-old, and I'm teaching him some steps. He wants to tap. And you know who I study with when I'm out there? Remember the Lawrence Welk show?
Sure.
Well, you remember Arthur Duncan? He's the one black guy on the show. He's the dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the black tap dancer. That's
Oh,
my
my.
teacher. I
Okay.
studied with him out there.
Now, of course, listeners out there, Tony Danza performing live with his live act August 11th. Tony, is there a website we could check out to get more information?
Good question, huh?
I Googled it. I found that there's tickets on Ticketmaster and everything else. So for our
Yeah.
listeners out there, if you want to do that, Tony Danza, thank you so much
Hey,
for taking
listen,
time
I've
to
had
join
a great
us.
time. Thanks a lot.
We
And
love you,
Nancy, it was
Tony.
Good talking to you.
Thank you.
We love you. Take care.
Take care.
Okay, guys, speak to you soon.
I'll call tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Around the CRN studios, we